Barclays Bank reports a drop in full-year profits, announces plans to cut its dividend and sell down its stake in its Africa business. As the exchange rate pressure continues to hurt staple food prices in Nigeria, our commodities update segment focuses on the domestic spot prices. Plus, Ivory Coast cashes in on cashew nuts production, overtaking India as the world's top cashew nut producer. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Business Incorporated. I'm Chimize Obi Iwagu. Barclays has reported a drop in full-year profits and has announced plans to cut its dividend and sell down its stake in its Africa business. Underlying annual profits for 2015 fell 2% to £5.4 billion. The bank said it planned to sell down its 62.3% stake in its Africa business in the next 2 to 3 years. The chief executive officer of UK Barclays Bank said today that the decision to sell 62.3% of the bank assets holdings in Africa was a difficult one to make. Barclays shares were down more than 2% on the London Stock Exchange in early trade as the lender declares 65% profit slump for fourth quarter 2015 while paying cash dividend of around 2 to 3 pence a share. Barclays has about 100 years history of banking in sub-Saharan Africa. The Opel Astra was named the 2016 Car of the Year ahead of Geneva's International Motor Show on Monday, beating 6 other finalists in the running for Best New Car on the European market. A panel of motoring specialists representing 22 European countries decided the winner based on scores in categories including design, comfort, safety, economy, handling, performance and price. The family-friendly 4-door hatchback pulled ahead to win its first Car of the Year title amidst stiff competition, beating second-place Volvo XC90 by only 15 points. The Mazda MX-5 came in third place, followed by the Audi A4, then the Jaguar XE, the Skoda Superb, and finally the BMW 7 Series. CEO of the Opel Group, Carl Thomas, who accepted the award on behalf of the company, said the award symbolized Opel's comeback.
It's a true Opel again. It has emotion, it has technology, and it's affordable. It's a car which is in the middle of the society. And this car, we achieved what we wanted to do. We wanted to show again that Opel is in the lead in this class. And this is just the start. We are investing into 29 new models until 2020. So many new Opels are coming. And with the team which has built this car, we will build great cars.
From the Geneva Auto Show to a raft of economic data from Italy, France and Germany and China's PMI data, let's switch to DWTV Channels TV correspondent Conrad Bosen to talk to us about these data. Good afternoon, Conrad. Now, a raft of economic data from Italy, France and Germany today, manufacturing and unemployment. Analyze the numbers for us and what it tells about ECB's next direction.
Well, the evaluation of all the data in a nutshell is manufacturing, so-so, labor market, so. The purchasing managers indices we've been getting from Italy, from France, also here from Germany, also show that the manufacturing sector's got to feel some sort of slowdown, worldwide economic slowdown, triggered mainly by the slowdown in China and slower demand from emerging economies. But I also have to say, all these purchasing managers indices which were reported from the Eurozone countries came in at a reading of higher than 50. And that indicates that, yes, there has been some slowdown, but the purchasing managers indicators, they show that the manufacturing sectors are still growing. And that brings me to the situation on the labor market, which has improved in all of the Eurozone, but mainly here in Germany, the improvement is particularly good. The unemployment rate fell down to 6.6%, and that's the lowest reading in 25 years. What's more, the number of people who have employment has risen to a record high, and that's 43 million people in the country. If we consider that all these people, start paying taxes, spend money for the social security schemes, and start spending, this explains where some of the economic hope driving the market today comes from. And that brings me to the European Central Bank. With the very strong recovery on the labor market, some people here think that the ECB next week, when its governing council comes together here in Frankfurt to decide on interest rates, has an argument to rather play it slow and wait until it decides to do more stimulating. On the other hand, some people say, well, the consumer price inflation, the measure at which prices have been rising in the Eurozone, this is very, very low. So the only thing that people really are sure about is that the Governing Council next week will intensively discuss whether or not to do more stimulus or not.
All right, Conrad, while we wait for ECB's decision, China is on the news today with sluggish PMI data and the US eyes looking to upset the London Stock Exchange and Deutsche Börse marriage. Any reactions from investors on this and other headlines like oil metal prices?
Well, yes, I have to say that the negative data coming in from China is not having a strong negative impact on prices, neither on the stock market nor on metal and commodity prices. Oil is higher today. Most of the commodities and metals are traded higher again. And that has to do with the fact that also in China, speculation is that the central bank will step in further to help the economy in China not to slow down too strongly and too heavily. Already the People's Bank of China, which is the reserve bank in Beijing, announced that it lowers the reserve ratios that Chinese commercial banks have to hold. And this means that the People's Bank does everything to improve lending in China. You talked about the planned merger of Frankfurt and London stock exchanges. We did get a report today that the Intercontinental Exchange, which is a markets operator based in Atlanta, which already owns the New York Stock Exchange, is considering a takeover bid for the London Stock Exchange. And that would be considered hostile, of course, since the boss of the London Exchange at the moment seems to be in favor of a merger with Frankfurt. The news does not have an impact on the stock prices. The stock price of the Frankfurt Exchange, this is slightly higher at the moment. It does have a significant effect on the London's Stock Exchange own stock price, which is rising by 8%. But mind you, people I talk to here say that they see a risk, or they see the potential that the Intercontinental Exchange will find it difficult to really take over the London Stock Exchange eventually, because of its owning the New York Stock Exchange already. The cartel authorities, the competition authorities, might have something against this plan.
Interesting. Now, Conrad, let's look at the Geneva Auto Show. Who is driving what, in what direction, and how fast?
So many questions, so many possible answers. Let me tell you one thing. Next to the news that you already gave us, that the Opel Astra has become the car of the year, there's mainly one important topic being discussed in Geneva and also on the financial markets, and this topic remains the emissions scandal that Volkswagen is involved in. And the reason why this is still such an important topic of discussion is not only the way that Volkswagen is handling this whole affair. People start asking whether the whole diesel technology shouldn't be put into question, at least when it comes to passenger cars. The car makers here in Europe have favored the diesel technology for years, and they say that they have improved this technology a great deal. But on the other hand, city councils in Europe, also scientists who constantly measure emissions, they continuously say that the nitrogen oxides that are pushed out by the passenger cars are too high. They are a risk to health. So basically the question is being discussed whether or not the car makers here in Europe should continue to bet on the diesel technology.
All right, thank you for your time, Conrad. Conrad Busen, DWTV Channel's TV correspondent, reporting from Frankfurt Stock Exchange. After the break, we will look at the movement in the domestic commodities spot prices and our commodities market update segment. To stay with us.